One of the biggest burning questions for The Boys Season 5 is regarding Black Noir. And the question is, why isn't Black Noir talking? And now in today's video, I'm just going to be giving my theories and speculation about Black Noir in The Boys Season 5 and what could him not talking potentially mean for the season in general and also the finale. So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, as we all know, in The Boys Season 4, we had a totally new Noir. And he was talking, and he was able to fly, and stuff like that. It was a really comedic relief character. But in this season of The Boys, we see multiple times that the Deep is trying to talk to Noir, and he's trying to make him talk, like how it was in Season 4. But he's not talking, he's actually acting like how Black Noir was acting in the first 3 seasons of The Boys. And that's where my first theory comes in. Now, the theory is that this Noir is the original Noir from the first 3 seasons of The Boys. And now you all may be asking that Homelander killed Noir in Season 3 of The Boys, and how is he back? How is he alive? And the explanation here is that it's Vought, right? We didn't see Black Noir's body after that. We didn't see him completely dying. He was having his hallucinations and everything. And those cartoon characters that he sees in his mind, they were talking to him, but it wasn't really clear that, you know, they buried Noir, or like, you know, they put his body somewhere, or like he's completely dead. It's very well possible, like how it was for Soldier Boy when he quote-unquote died in Season 3, that maybe, like, for Soldier Boy's case, it was the government, but for Black Noir's case, it could be Vought. So when Homelander left to fight Soldier Boy, right, like when he left to talk to Soldier Boy and everything like that, when the final act of Season 3 happened, it's very well possible that some Vought scientists took Black Noir to their lab and they injected him with some more V, right? You know, they got him up and running again, right? But it just took him a whole season to, you know, recover. It's very well possible, right? Because, like, if you look at the similarities here, right? Soldier Boy missed out on Season 4, right? And he appeared in Season 5. And the way that he returned is that it was revealed to us that the government had Soldier Boy's body on ice. Now, the same thing could go for Noir, right? No, we didn't get a Black Noir and Soldier Boy fight. And maybe Black Noir had the same fate as Soldier Boy in that last episode, that he was taken and he was put on ice, and he was just given more V to juice himself up even more. And that's why we have the old Noir back. Now, what happened to the Noir from Season 4, right? The new Noir? It's very well possible that the new Noir either got killed off screen by Homelander, or he just got fired, right? You know, it's very possible that, you know, they just let him go because he was a narcoleptic, right? He would just sleep randomly and stuff like that. And he was very talkative for Black Noir. So it's possible that they just let him go, right? You know, that could be the simple answer there. Or maybe Homelander killed him off screen. And now Homelander killing the new Noir off screen doesn't really work with another theory I have that's going to be later on in the video. So yeah, it is possible that the old Noir was recovered by Vought scientists and they just put him on ice, and possibly because V1 is a big hot topic in this season, so it's definitely possible somehow, some way, Vought probably gave the old Noir V1 and made him immortal. And personally, I'm very excited for that, because if that is the case, if the old Noir is alive, then his fight with Soldier Boy is going to be amazing, and we were robbed of that in Season 3. And now the next theory is that this is the same Black Noir from Season 4. And, there's actually a reason to explain why he's not talking anymore. And now in Season 4 of The Boys, there is a deleted scene where Homelander, he starts crying and he starts reminiscing about the old Noir with this new Noir, right? You know, he's saying that you're not going to do what he did, and then he starts to hug him, right? You know, he gives Noir that message that, yeah, you know, don't do what the old Noir did, you know, be a perfect Noir, quote unquote, right? You know, and that deleted scene could be canon, right? You know, that could have very well happened off screen, and now with this new Noir being quiet, it could explain, like, there could be a reason for that, right? You know, maybe like the new Noir, he's just out of fear, he's not talking at all because of Homelander, right? You know, Homelander is keeping a stern eye on him, and now like he's actually embodied that character of Noir to the point where he actually does think he's Noir, right? You know, he's just so deep into that character that he thinks that he's the real Noir. And now that doesn't really explain the narcoleptic part. Maybe he got that treated somehow, or maybe like another dose of V probably helped him. I'm not too sure, but that is the other theory, that oh, this is the same Noir as season 4, but just out of fear of Homelander, he's staying quiet and he's embodying that character of Black Noir. And now the next big theory is that this Black Noir is a clone of Homelander. And now, as you all know, in the Boys comics, right now this is common knowledge now, that the Black Noir from the comics is a clone of Homelander, and he was used as a failsafe if Homelander went ballistic, which he did by the end. So the Black Noir in the comics, he ended up killing Homelander, and that could very well be the case this time around. And now the reason why I'm saying this is because, one, Noir is completely quiet, right? No, he's not talking, he's not doing anything at all, which could be an explanation, because even in the comics, Noir doesn't talk until the very end when he reveals himself as a clone of Homelander. And also there are subtle hints here and there that maybe this has some merit to it. I mean, even though I don't really like the whole concept of Black Noir being a clone of Homelander, because in the comics it felt kind of stupid, right? You know, they had this whole build up and everything like that to Butcher versus Homelander, and then, you know, you just have this clone of Homelander coming into the White House and revealing himself to be the person that did all the bad things that Homelander did, right? And because Homelander thought that he forgot a lot of those things, he thinks that he did those things, but he just doesn't remember. Then we get the explanation right there on the spot that Noir was the person that did all those horrific things. Even Homelander did horrific things as well, right? But, you know, the stuff that Noir did and what happened with Becca, that was all Noir. And yeah, you know, in the show, it's possible that, you know, Noir could be a clone of Homelander, because first of all, there is a scene in episode 3 of season 5 where Homelander, he's standing in front of a picture of Noir, and then we also have another scene in this season where Noir is standing in front of a picture of Homelander. And of course, like, you know, that could just be a thing that's just there and, you know, they didn't focus on it, but why even have that in the first place, right? You know, that could be a subtle hint. It could be an Easter egg to the comics that, oh yeah, you know, here it is, right? You know, Noir was a clone of Homelander in the comics, but it's not happening in the show, but it's just our way of putting an Easter egg in there. Or it could be a much bigger hint that, yeah, you know, the Noir that we're looking at, he has a much bigger purpose in this season, because they were keep on, you know, highlighting the fact that Noir is not the same as the last season. And of course, like how I said before in the first theory, that if Homelander kills the season 4 version of Noir, then it wouldn't really give any merit to this theory, right? You know, I'm talking about this theory that if Noir is a clone of Homelander, then Homelander killing season 4 Noir himself wouldn't make sense, because the whole surprise factor has to be there, right? Homelander, the whole point why that Noir scene is so impactful is because Homelander did not know it himself. Vought did that under wraps. So if they want to execute it, they have to execute it that same way that, yeah, you know, possibly like Ashley or somebody like that, they possibly fired the season 4 version of Noir without Homelander knowing, and then in his place they put this clone of Homelander who potentially already has V1 in his system. Now, as we all know, Homelander is going to get V1 in this season. It's not a spoiler, it was in the trailer, right? You know, there was one shot where Homelander is beaming his lasers up to the sky, and then there is an injection of some sorts right beside him. So of course, with V1 getting so much highlight, it's obvious that Homelander is going to get V1. But what if this version of Noir, right now the clone of Homelander, already has V1 in his system, or something stronger in his system, another version of V that no one talks about, right? No one even knows about, that was developed by these Vought scientists under wraps, even Homelander doesn't know about it, and that is eventually going to be the thing that kills Homelander. Now, personally, I don't want Homelander to die in the season because I think his end is way better as a person that lost his powers, and he's as weak as everybody else, and he gets beaten by Huey, and then he's put into prison. Personally, that's better because throughout the whole show, Homelander thinks he's a god, and then at the very end, you bring him back down to Earth to the point where he can't do anything, right? You know, being a human, having like, you know, human level strength and everything like that, not having his laser vision is completely new to him and he wouldn't really know what to do. Personally, I want that to happen. But if they go down this route of Noir being a Homelander clone, I think that it's just a matter of them doing it right and not as stupid as the comics. I mean, if they wanted to do it in the show, they could have set that up from season 1 if that was their plan, but I believe the showrunner did say that the ending was already planned from season 3, right? You know, he already knew how the show was going to end when season 3 was going on, so maybe they have some next way of explaining that, oh yeah, like Noir, he's a clone of Homelander now, and you know, this is how we're going to execute it, and it's going to make sense, and it's going to wrap everything up nicely. Maybe there is a way. I can't come up with a way, because even in the comics, even though they had that planned, I think, it just seemed so weak, right? So maybe they could do it in a way that maybe like you have that clone version of Homelander, right? You know, he kills Homelander, and then Soldier Boy and Butcher, they end up killing Noir. That would be a way also. Or maybe like you have Butcher just killing that version of Noir and then going for Homelander next, because yet again, if you look at it in a way, you know, you have two sides of this story, right? You know, you have the fans that want to see Homelander dying, and you have the fans that want to see Homelander survive, but his powers are taken away. So that would be a nice way of doing it, right? You know, what if you have this clone version of Homelander, potentially with all of his memories, right? You know, he thinks he's Homelander, or he's just exactly like Homelander in some sort of way. Then you have that Noir dying by the hands of Butcher, right? So you have that side of, oh yeah, you know, Butcher was able to kill a stronger version of Homelander, but the actual Homelander that we've been seeing for the past 5 seasons, he survives and he's thrown into jail. That could be a way, but I'm not too sure, right? I mean, I'm not a writer or anything like that, so if they have something up their sleeves regarding this, and if they have a way of explaining why Noir isn't talking whatsoever in a nice way, then, you know, I'm all for it. But, you know, these are the 3 theories I'm really leaning towards, and even though I don't like the whole clone Homelander thing, I don't know why, I have the feeling that that is gonna be the thing that they go with, because even the hints that they've been giving in these episodes, it seems like that they're going into that direction, right? You know, and if you guys are asking that, oh yeah, you know, why doesn't Homelander just look through the mask, right, with his X-ray vision? Now, it's proven that Homelander uses the X-ray vision on command, right? He doesn't always have it on, so he probably just doesn't even feel the need to even look through Noir's mask, right? You know, that is very well possible. Or maybe even Homelander engineered Noir that way. Maybe he knows that Noir is a clone of him, and just in case if Homelander does die, then Noir is able to take his place. I'm not sure. I don't think Homelander's that type of person to get himself cloned, right? Because he's very against that. He thinks that he is the superior race, right? He is the guy that's on top. So I don't know, but personally, I think that this might be the thing that they go with, even though it will get a lot of backlash. But let's see. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.